welcome to this explainer. Today, or well, whenever you happen to be tuning in, we're embarking on a pretty thrilling descent into what I can only really describe as a state of temporary insanity. I mean, it's a state our minds willingly slip into every single night. We're going to be pulling directly from our source documents today to strictly explore the hard science of dreams. It's a journey into a wild, internal universe built entirely by our own mind. Let's get into it.
So think about it for just a second. What actually happens inside your brain when you dream? It is genuinely mind-blowing. You're asleep, right? You're lying completely paralyzed under a blanket in pitch darkness, eyes totally shut, and yet somehow your brain manages to generate these full, high-definition movies, complete with blinding light, surround sound, and totally raw emotion, literally out of thin air. How exactly does a brain, sitting in a dark room, pull off this massive virtual reality simulation?
Section 1. Down the sleep elevator.
Okay, let's dive into this. To truly understand dreaming, we first have to take a chronological journey down what we can basically call the sleep elevator. We move through 4 very distinct stages before the true dreaming even starts. Floor 1 is the hypnagogic zone, the very boundary of sleep. Then we drop to floor 2, the memory cabinet. Here, your heartbeat drops and your brain emits these rapid bursts of electricity called sleep spindles to meticulously file away today's memories into your long-term vault. By floor 3, deep sleep, physical recovery kicks in. The brain literally turns on a dishwasher mechanism called the glymphatic system to wash away the toxic waste that build up while you were awake. But before we finally get to floor 4,
we absolutely have to talk about a phenomenon you've almost certainly experienced back up on floor 1. Have you ever felt like you were, say, stepping off a curb as you drifted off, and your whole body just violently jolted awake? Yeah, that is called the hypnic jerk. As you're falling asleep, your muscles relax so incredibly fast that your ancient evolutionary brain actually panics. It literally thinks you are falling out of a tree. So in this hilarious act of misguided self-preservation, it shoots an emergency electrical shock straight down your spine to your legs just to save you.
Section 2. Inside the dreaming brain.
Once we safely bypass that little jolt, the elevator slams into floor 4. Welcome to the REM explosion. So why do our dreams feel so incredibly strange and yet we just totally accept them in the moment? Well, in REM sleep, your brain acts like a bizarre, overworked movie director. It locks the front doors to reality and furiously edits together your secret memories and random feelings. See, your awake brain has its logic engine, the prefrontal cortex, turned completely on. But in REM sleep, that logic center is completely switched off. That's exactly why you happily accept, a flying giraffe handing you a slice of pizza in a dream. It doesn't violate your physics because your physics checker is literally offline. Meanwhile, your amygdala, the emotional command center, is running up to 30% hotter than normal. So your feelings are raw, unfiltered, and totally unedited by logic.
And then there's the crazy chemical cocktail your brainstem is mixing up. When you're awake, you are bathed in noradrenaline, which keeps you focused and helps write memories. But in REM sleep, noradrenaline drops all the way to 0. This is exactly why you can forget 90% of an epic 2-hour dream within just 60 seconds of waking up. The save feature is literally turned off. But at the exact same time, a chemical called acetylcholine absolutely floods the brain. This stuff acts like jet fuel for your imagination, aggressively forcing totally unrelated memories, like say your childhood cafeteria and a sci-fi movie you just watched, to creatively crash right into each other.
But here is a really critical question. With all this chaotic action going on in your head, why on earth don't you physically jump out of bed and act it out? Well, enter REM atonia. The very moment REM sleep begins, your brainstem releases 2 neurotransmitters, GABA and glycine. This acts as a miraculous biological safety lock that completely paralyzes all of your voluntary skeletal muscles. Without it, you'd be constantly throwing yourself into walls while dreaming about running a marathon.
However, sometimes this amazing safety system kind of glitches. You wake up in bed, your eyes are open, you are fully conscious, but you cannot move a single finger. You might even see a terrifying shadow figure standing in the corner of your room. This is sleep paralysis. Let me be clear, it isn't a demon, it's simply a terrifying 30-second overlap where your waking consciousness, your muscle lock, and your hyperactive REM dream projections are all turned on at the exact same time. The absolute best way to break this loop, honestly, just wiggle your big toe.
Section 3. Why we actually dream.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the grand evolutionary question it brings up. Why on earth do we actually do this? I mean, why spend 2 whole hours every single night hallucinating when our bodies could just be peacefully resting? The scientific community has proposed a bunch of master theories for this. One suggests it's a threat simulator, like an ancient virtual reality where our ancestors practiced dodging predators to improve their waking reaction times. Another theory calls it a memory housekeeper, cleaning out the useless data of the day through a process called synaptic pruning. And some scientists say, hey, it's just random neural static, your brain literally just trying to make sense of random electrical noise.
But my absolute personal favorite, the creative explosions theory. When your logical brain is off and those associative chemicals are firing, incredible things happen. The Russian chemist Dmitry Mendeleev literally saw the periodic table of elements organize itself in a dream. Paul McCartney woke up with the melody to the Beatles' hit Yesterday perfectly playing in his head. Dreams are the ultimate creative hack, handing us these massive, world-changing breakthroughs right from our hyper-associative states. And perhaps the most profoundly healing function is overnight therapy. Neuroscientist Dr. Matthew Walker found that REM sleep is literally the only time your brain is completely free of that stress chemical, noradrenaline. Your brain replaced painful daytime memories in a completely safe, stress-free chemical bath, essentially stripping the sharp, painful emotional edges right off of them. It's basically emotional first aid, ensuring we wake up more resilient for the next day.
Section 4. Nightmares and lucid control.
So the crucial point is, what happens when that emotional center gets overloaded with daytime stress? What happens when we try to ignore our waking problems and our brain is forced to confront them at night? Well, humans all over the globe share the exact same classic nightmares, and they are definitely trying to tell us something. If you dream of falling, it often points to a waking feeling of losing control over a major situation in your life. Teeth falling out, deep social anxiety, or a fear of losing status. Being naked in public is a total classic symptom of imposter syndrome, and if a monster is chasing you, well, I hate to break it to you, but that monster is actually just a real-life problem you're actively avoiding. Your brain is literally begging you to confront it.
Now, if you suffer from reoccurring nightmares, clinical psychology offers a frankly brilliant tool called image rehearsal therapy. It's a way to literally overwrite the terrifying files in your brain. Here's how it works. While you're awake, you write down the nightmare. Then, you rewrite the ending to be incredibly positive or even completely absurd. Maybe the monster that's chasing you suddenly stops and hands you a giant bowling trophy. Finally, you mentally rehearse this new, ridiculous ending for 5 minutes before bed. Within days, your brain actually starts adopting the new script.
And speaking of rewriting scripts, this brings us to the ultimate reality hack: lucid dreaming. Now, this isn't science fiction. It's a scientifically proven neurological state where your prefrontal cortex, your logic engine, suddenly snaps back online while you remain deep in REM sleep. You become fully conscious inside the dream matrix, effectively becoming the absolute god of your own private universe. You can fly, you can teleport, or you can even safely practice real-world physical skills.
The crazy part? You can actually train your brain to do this tonight. Step 1, do reality checks during the day. Try to push your finger through your palm. In reality, physics holds up, but in a dream, your finger will pass right through. Step 2, keep a dream journal to build up your recall memory. And step 3, use the mild technique. Basically repeating a mantra as you fall asleep, something like, next scene I dream, I will realize I am dreaming. Oh, and don't worry about getting trapped in a dream forever like in some movie. Your brain's natural 90-minute sleep cycle ensures you will always wake up safely.
Section 5. The future of dreaming.
Now that we've mapped the human mind, let's step into the absolute cutting-edge frontier of sleep science. Researchers are no longer just looking at us, they're looking outside the human mind and far into our technological future. Because it turns out we aren't the only ones hallucinating at night. Animals dream too. Researchers at MIT found that sleeping rats have brainwaves that perfectly sync up with the mazes they were running during the day. Songbirds actually rehearse their tunes in their sleep, with their brain's vocal centers firing in perfect rhythm. And, maybe most beautifully, sleeping octopuses will rapidly change colors in their tanks, flashing white, brown, and yellow, strongly suggesting they are literally dreaming of stalking prey or hiding from predators. And this brilliantly illustrates just how measurable dreams actually are, bringing us to a pretty staggering number: 60%. A Japanese lab in Kyoto actually built an AI-powered dream decoder. By scanning subjects in MRI machines while they slept, the AI successfully reconstructed visual images of their dreams on a monitor with 60% accuracy. It could correctly guess if the person was dreaming about a car, a building, or a key. Just wrap your head around that.
But of course, with crazy new technology comes a massive ethical dilemma. Big corporations are actively testing a concept called targeted dream incubation, or TDI. By using specific sound and aroma cues while you sleep, they're exploring ways to inject brand advertisements right into your dreams. Dozens of sleep researchers are currently sounding the alarm on this, heavily debating the deep ethics of intruding on the mind's final, absolutely private sanctuary.
Which brings us to the end of our journey today. Every single night, your brain meticulously heals your wounds, files away your memories, and builds a majestic, high-definition internal universe just for you. It really is the greatest show on Earth. But as we stand right on the brink of technology that can decode, record, and even advertise inside our sleeping minds, I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. If our dreams can soon be accessed from the outside, is your mind truly still your own? Thanks so much for exploring this explainer with us. Sleep well tonight.